Hi, everybody. This is Donna Russo, and this is the Disability Channel, the Today Show Los Angeles. And I'm so happy today to be with you. I speak with interesting people, interesting guests, and today's guest is Aaron Avila. And I really, really want you all to meet this gentleman. He's really a real amazing and inspirational person. I want to talk to him about his story, surviving stroke, and what his goals are with his podcast, Stroke Genius. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Donna, what a privilege to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm so glad to see you again. I
Yeah,
was on your show and I loved it. And you are just amazing with your podcast, A Stroke of Genius. And I want you to talk about your experience with stroke and how you dealt with that and what you would like to share with us about that experience.
thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. Really, Stroke of Genius podcast was created when I began to create Stroke TV media. And 13 years ago, I created this out of a need in myself. I created, I had a brain aneurysm in the stroke 13 years ago. And I had a brain aneurysm first, and 2 weeks later was in a coma. I had a stroke. I both. So, and what really kind of got me going is that when I had my stroke, my brain aneurysm, I was half paralyzed, laid in bed, suicidal, thought my life was over. And then I began to listen to this guy named Jeff Hazelett on YouTube. And he's a global buzzer celebrity. He's now my friend, a personal friend of mine. And he is a chairman of C-Suite Network. And it really has changed my life. I'm like you. I'm a survivor. I survive. I'm not just a survivor. I'm like you. I'm a thriver. We thrive. We're different. And it really comes down to out there people's mindset, how they don't let you what is your disease? What is your disease you have? I forgot.
And so your message for other stroke survivors is very important. And how do you how do you explain how to change your mindset? I mean, what do you tell people about mindset?
Great question, Donna. Mindset is really I don't care what plight you're facing, what struggle you're facing in life. But there was as a spiritual mentor early on in what I was doing, tell me where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I think the beginning of the correct mindset is is to don't focus on what you can't do. I can't do this. My life is not like it used to be. Okay, that's true. But focus on what you can do. And I
Yeah.
really, I
Yeah.
mean, and
No, no, I'm just thinking about, with my muscular dystrophy, how you have to adapt and how that's it's really important to, focus on what you can do. Like I wanted to still dance, but my muscles are not doing that. So, um and we've talked about this before, the passion that you have inside kind of keeps you going, and you have to find that again. And I mean, what do you say to those stroke patients that are like, well, I really don't have anything much I can do. I can't really walk with my legs. I find it hard to get out of bed. I um I I'm really upset about this, and I don't feel like there is much more for me to do. what can you tell them?
That's that's a very common thing to have. That people begin to say, there's nothing left. That's it, like me, suicidal. 'Cause I used to lay half paralyzed in bed and wanted to kill myself. And I had a gun in my closet, and I couldn't. I figured out how I was gonna. I couldn't figure out how to get my half paralyzed carcass out of my bed. But to answer your question, because it's really good question, I think it's pivotal. That again, it goes back when I'm not here to tell you, and Don, I'm sure, is not here to tell you it's easy. It's not easy. What we do, rising above our stroke or muscular dystrophy, is a choice. And I think people forget life is 90% on 10% what happens to you, and 90% of how you respond. And if I could, I want to repeat that because I want your audience to hear it. Life is 10% what happened to you, and 90% of how you respond.
Mm-hmm.
It's those people that I mean, I'm not a battle of darkness, a battle of suicide, a battle of same thing. How did I listen to inspirations? Go on YouTube and flood your mind with positive inspirationals. Things that say you can. I can do this. It took Jeff Hayes, like a global business lobby, has nothing to do with stroke, but his mindset was different. He had a can-do attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He used that in business, but I applied to my stroke. I went, hey, he not once did this man ever say, I cannot do it. I have to just change the way I think. So I'm telling you, anybody out there struggling, battling life, and it's not perfect. We have muscular dystrophy, we have stroke and brain aneurysm. You've got to realize you can decide. You wake up in the morning and say, I can do it. Keep telling yourself, I am grateful I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a change that occurs. It's almost a spiritual change that occurs. It's a motivation occurs.
Did you? Oh, you say you went through spiritual changes?
Oh, I had a near death experience. During my
Oh
brain,
my
I have
goodness.
no idea where it went, what point it was, my brain aneurysm or my stroke, but my real life changer. The real thing that changed my life was the near death experience I had. That really, really impacted and changed my life. So I'm a spiritual man now, no question. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I think there's an energy to life. And I see it in you. I see your energy. I see you on stage. I watch you with muscular dystrophy. And I'm she getting choked up because you're the type of person that amazes me. That you face something that could really make you want to end your life or not try at all or withdraw the ball and curl up in the ball and wait to die. But you don't.
Yeah. Yes. The spiritual thing um, touches me because I have felt that. When something goes wrong with you, or when you have a mountain to climb over, somehow you have to feel closer to spirit or um, higher power, higher being, because you're you're saying all the time, you're saying I'm thankful if you will do this, and I want to get closer to you so I can be protected by you, and I know you exist because I know there's a better plan for me out there when this is all over. I know I'll get through it, and I'll see what you have in store for me, because that's what happened to me too. I was going through a hard time. I didn't know if I'd be able to dance or do any kind of entertaining things or creative things. And then I met, you know, Peggy Lane, and we did Donna on the Go, which is on YouTube, and that kind of kept my creative juices going. And just wondering how that spirit affected you.
Well, I think Donna, I would have to say, it really comes down to this. It comes down to some. I create inspirations, but this is not mine. Here's the inspirational: that when it feels like your life is falling apart, it's really falling into place. You're impacting the world like I know you, Don. I see your work. You're impacting lives that you never would have before your muscular dystrophy. I'm impacting the world like never. I would have never been able to without my brain injuries and stroke. So there's two ways you can look at your life. It's falling apart or it's really falling into place. But if you're alive out there, audience, if you're alive, you have a purpose. You have a reason you're alive. Donna has a reason. I see she inspires me, and when I was serious, but I get choked up because I watch people like Donna. They inspire me because they don't give up. But it really is their life was being steered in the direction that was really not what you would expect to be great and impactful, but it is. It impacted my life. Donna, you've impacted my life. I'll never forget, Johnny.
Okay, let's go on a little break, and we'll be right back.
Are you currently on the Ontario Disability Support Program? If you're interested in social media marketing, TV production, podcasting, and or getting off assistance, contact Jay Stoyan at 647-339-6847 or jay@thedisabilitychannel.ca. The Disability Channel, showcasing abilities.
Hi, we're back, and I have I'm having a really good conversation with Aaron here about feeling spirit and feeling spiritual after you have some chronic illness or some kind of adverse things that come into your life. And I think we're on the same page about that. And it builds you, it kind of builds you up to be strong and to know that you have to go on. I mean, there's not really, what else can you do? And you have to find the way that you fit in, maybe to be of service of others. And like you did, a podcast. And you speak in groups, don't you? Do you speak, you?
I actually built a stroke survivor group on Facebook called Second Chance Stroke Survivors, and we're now close to 6,000 members. And and also in case you want to do, go into Google, any social media platform, and type in hashtag stroke TV, and you'll see what I do. Or you can go to YouTube and go to Stroke TV Media. In fact, if you go to Google and just type in Stroke TV Media, you'll find what I do. I'm not worried about it. But I think you need to you nailed it, and I don't think you totally realize it. You said you need to realize that you're a servant.
Mhm.
I think as we get out of ourselves, because what happens when you're faced with your multiple sclerosis, I face stroke and brain aneurysm, your tendency is to turn on your own self and look only at yourself. Serve yourself. Well, that's going to leave you hopeless. Guess what? You have muscular dystrophy, and I have a sprained aneurysm, stroke, and sonic Elmer foot. But in all reality, if you turn your focus away from yourself and you go, how can I use it to help other people? It'll transform your thinking, it'll transform your life, just like you do, Donna.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And how do you become tolerant of the adaptations? How do you become not so frustrated with yourself after your well, for me, I can speak for me, like after the loss of my muscles, like I keep trying not to be frustrated and just to be kind to myself. And I was watching one of your other videos and you talk about being grateful and just being tolerant of yourself. And when you feel frustration, to put all the things in your head that you're grateful for, and that does help. I find that helps.
That
So
really is so true, Don. Really good point. Because, we, again, you great, I must say, grateful, being grateful is a magnet for miracles in your life. If you can flood your mind, what ends up happening, you were asking how you get. Don't think it's point of time about it is easy. Don't think we're down the time about it easy. It's a battle. It's a battle of negative mindset, negative thoughts about yourself. But in all reality, it comes down to you gotta love yourself. Well, you gotta flood your mind with gratefulness. You really do. You have to flood your mind with gratefulness. It is a key to change everything. If you could only come up with one thing to be grateful for, I don't care if it's your cat, I don't care if it's your dog, I don't care what it is. The bird chirping in the air. If you flood your mind with that gratefulness, you go outside and you go, man, I'm grateful for that bird singing. It'll
yeah,
change your life.
sometimes I get to go outside. I go for a ride or a roll. I call it a roll.
I
You
know.
ride, and you look at nature. You look at the trees. You look at the flowers, and you just think, well, at least I'm able to go and see these beautiful things and focus on that. But it's hard because every day there's like new challenges that you have to figure out in everyone's life. There's just things that, oh, okay, how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to deal with that? But if you focus, maybe you can go outside or maybe you can do something else for a while and come back to it, or surrender yourself to say, okay, I I don't know, I'm doing what I can to do now to solve this, and then just surrender, and maybe that's the thing to do, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because I think we as human beings, we have an issue when we try to fight what's happening. We don't believe it. We don't believe I have a brain injury, so we don't believe we have muscular dystrophy, so we fight it. But like you just say, embrace it's the way it is. So one of my that's one of my most powerful things I got was based on a cartoon called Lion King, and as when there was an orangutan met the junior Lion King, and he was talking about all the problems in life. He says you can either run from it or learn from it. So there's your choice. You have two choices. You can either run from reality if you have muscular dystrophy, you had a stroke, or whatever your plight is, whatever it is. You can either try to run from it, which will get you nowhere, or you can learn from it, which will get you everywhere, which will actually put you on the new path your life was designed to be on, which you ask, Don't ask why me, ask why. Because you and I, we talk about the universe, we talk about the higher power, we talk about God, whatever you call him. God doesn't get all upset about calling him a higher power. But there's something greater outside ourselves in this life. And guess what? It's going to, oh, we lost Donna. Don't have to, don't have
Oh,
down there.
sorry about that.
But Donna, it's just a matter of where you look. And when you and I, we almost coming back to this again. It's where your focus is. It's what you focus on. I can't, or I can. I can't. Henry Ford had this saying. They said, "Whether you think you can, whether you think you can't, both are correct." Meaning, if you say you can't, you never will. But if you say can, you will. That's it.
You kind of once you say you can't, you kind of blocked it out. You just, yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. You block, you put a wall. But there's another. I'm sorry, I'm great at, but there is a quote that the biggest wall you've got to climb in your life is the one you build in your own mind. And it's so true. Like Donna, you just said, when you say you can't, you built a wall. You can't climb it because you built it. But say you can, Donna. I see you on stage. You could have said, I can't, I'll never dance again. I can't. I have seen you dance on stage with my skeleton. I'm trying not to get choked up here because it's touching to me. It's powerful because you know what? You said, I can. You know what? You did.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many. Well, like before we got on this program, okay, there were some technical difficulties that I had to move my wheelchair, move it back. But if I had just given up and said, we're not going to do this today, then I would never have this great conversation with you. And it would have never happened. And we're going to go on another commercial break and then we'll come back, okay?
Okay.
Well, Aaron, you have taught me just so much by talking with you. And I would like to know if you have certain things in the future you want to do with your podcast, with your talks, with your followers. Where would you like to go with your inspiration, with your message?
Well, I'd like, first of all, my platform to be global. I want to help people around the world. And, it's, believe, a servant leadership. I believe that if you could, like I said, we said earlier in the show, if you get your eyes over yourself and start serving others, your life will change. You were meant to serve. You're here for a reason. You're here to help others, not just yourself. Help
Mhm.
others. Change your life completely. Change my life completely. I'm just still learning to be a servant leader. But you gotta realize that there's something bigger out there than you and I. There's something there is you want to talk about spiritual, we're talking about the spiritual nature of things. But there's something bigger than ourselves.
Mhm.
And we are here to be put to help each other. Like you sit there and say, "Oh, Aaron, you help me. You just help me." Well, you help me, Donna. You inspire me. I mean, it's not just it's a give. It's the way it works. It just the more you give, the more you get back.
Well, so let's just say the message today is like when you focus on yourself and you're kind of getting down, or it's like be of service to others and get yourself out of your own head for a while.
Perfect.
And yes, that's a great message for today. And also, another good message that I like is connect yourself with the spirit that is higher than you.
Right.
I think that's a good thing, right?
Excellent. Excellent. You
And
know,
yeah.
we're running out of time, but I only want to say there's two only I could take and categorize the entire world in one statement. There's only two types of people in life:
Mhm.
energy givers and energy takers. Only two. So which one are you going to be? I say be an energy giver. Watch what happens. Miracles happen.
Yeah, everyone has something to give. And I want you to, you're a great guest and a great person. And I just learned so much from you. And, you know, here's all, be well, all the good energy to you.
You too.
And we'll speak again.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.